Top Ranks Bob Arum is good with Mayweather versus McGregor and encourages it. Stay tuned. Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button, also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. We working. Shout out to the super chats, the donations, and the Patreon patrons. A lot going on. The Mayweather versus McGregor press tour. They're hitting New York tomorrow. It's hype. It's lit. People are talking. It seems to be the biggest subject matter in the sport of boxing. Now, Top Ranks Bob Arum, he had a press conference for his fight. He's bringing Mcgregor to ESPN against Miguel Mariaga. And he was doing interviews. He was asked about the Mayweather-McGregor fight. I'm going to read his quotes and then just give some of my thoughts. Bob Arum says, Mayweather-McGregor will make a lot of money for the people involved. The idea whether it's good for boxing is sort of irrelevant. I don't even know what's good or bad for boxing means. It really has nothing to do with boxing as it carries on. It's a spectacle, and people will either watch it or they won't. And that's why those kind of questions bother me, because nobody's putting a gun to anybody's head. If you want to buy the fight and pay $100 to watch it on pay-per-view, then you do. If you don't, you don't. It's the free market, and the free market should be able to exist without people telling them that's good for boxing or not good for boxing. Let them do it. But at the same time, do I think it's going to be a real fight? No, I don't. He says, with Floyd, it's always take the money and run, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, very surprising admission from Top Ranks Bob Arum. Now, me personally, I don't always agree with what Bob Arum says, but in this case, I do. And I tell you, if I have an agreement or a disagreement with a fighter or promoter, I mean, I say my piece too. Like Bob Arum says, it's a free market, it's a free country, and I can give my thoughts on matters as it pertains to boxing. So, I agree with Bob Arum here. And I told y'all in January, tell the truth. Tell the truth. This was not going to be a good year for some of y'all. And I'm making for damn sure that it's not. You know what I mean? And some of you dudes are getting buried when it comes to this keeping it real in boxing and just overall your realities. Like they say, oh, nobody wants to watch this fight. This is bullshit. Everyone's going to stream it. And then they hit 2 press tour cities and people go fucking nuts. Los Angeles and in Toronto. And that's all people seem to be talking about, which is a good indication of what's to come for the actual fight. They're selling the hell out of this fight. It's kind of like when people get nominated for great roles and get Golden Globe nominations. A lot of times, a lot of the same people are being nominated for Oscars. So it's kind of like I said, an indication of what's to come. But I really like what Bob Arum says here, because this is what I've been telling people. First of all, it's $100. I don't know everyone's pocketbook, what you guys got going on, but it's $100. It's really not that serious in retrospect if you're a true fight fan and a true boxing fan. Not saying if you're a true boxing fan, you have to pay for this, but what I'm saying is you've gotten burned before, you know what I mean? From, let's say, Canelo, Liam Smith. People forget that was an actual pay-per-view, right? PACQUIAO, Bradley 3. There was other people for PACQUIAO to fight. That was an actual pay-per-view. PACQUIAO, Vargas. And those fights, I'm not going to say they were terrible, but pay-per-view worthy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Or most recently, the biggest sham was Canelo versus Chavez Jr. You know what I'm saying? And that was, let's say, $20, $30 less, but it was much of the same. At the very least, Mayweather and McGregor are entertaining. And see, what people try to do on my channel in the comment section, like, hey, Ego, man, you're biased. And what they'll do is they'll throw out 2 different examples that there is no correlation. It's really like apples and sports bras. They're not even the same subject matter. For example, they'll be like, oh, Ego, you didn't say anything good about Canelo, Liam Smith, but you support Mayweather McGregor, man. So let's break that down. You guys can support whatever you want. The reason why I was hard on Canelo versus Liam Smith is because he's a young, youthful, active fighter, right? And he was fighting a guy no one even heard of. So from any standpoint you look at, that really doesn't do anything good for boxing at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, if anything, it benefits maybe the promoter. They sell, 50,000 seats in Texas, and they make some money on the back end, but it's just really a fight that didn't need to happen. But this is an event. This is going to bring a lot of spotlight to boxing and UFC, and it's going to bring in a lot of cash. And Floyd is retired. He's 40 years old. He's retired. So he's coming out of retirement for this colossal event, and so far it's living up to the hype in terms of the buildup, which everyone expected it to have a crazy buildup. You know what I mean? So those are totally different. Canelo, Liam Smith, I don't see the value in it, because Liam Smith, what did he do before the fight to really engage with the users and make people want to spend the money, right? We all knew the outcome, most of us. What did Canelo do to really sell that fight? You know what I'm saying? Nothing. So on top of it being a stacked division, and there's other people like Demetrius Andrade, the Charlo brothers were there, etc. It doesn't really benefit the anybody but maybe the promoter and the fighter. You know what I mean? Canelo gets a win, and Golden Boy sells 51,000 tickets or whatnot, roughly. You know what I mean? So that's totally different. This is actually generating interest, entertaining people, and it's generating a lot of spotlight for boxing as a whole. I see people who don't even cover boxing on the regular talking about it. George Lopez show, people like World Star and the Shade Room, Baller Alert. They don't cover boxing, because I follow all those pages and bloggers and websites and stuff like that. They never really talk about boxing. So this is bringing a lot of spotlight back to boxing in general, and it's bringing a lot of money to the event, like Bob Arum is saying. So I wholeheartedly agree with Bob Arum. What he's saying is, like, nobody put a gun to your head. It's just something to gripe about and to complain about. Like, if I'm complaining about a fight, that's because I really, from all facets, I don't really see what, like Kodo Kamagai, perfect example. What does that do for boxing? You know what I mean? And that's a title fight. That doesn't do anything for boxing. It's not going to generate a lot of money, especially since it's on the same night as Mayweather versus McGregor. But even if Mayweather McGregor didn't happen on that particular night, I really don't see it breaking any kind of records. You know what I mean? You look at the fight with Cotto and Sergio Martinez, that didn't even do a mil. So what do you think this fight would have done? I mean, I know it's on regular HBO, but I'm just saying, Cotto, we haven't even seen him in like 2 years. And when he fought 2 years ago, it was off of a loss, right? At least Mayweather's undefeated for 20 years. You got somebody who can at least match him. Like a lot of guys that Floyd Mayweather previously faced, they can't match him. They don't say anything as witty as Conor McGregor. But you got Conor, and people are like, oh, Conor won that one. Oh, he got, you know what I'm saying? So at least he has someone who's actually helping with the promotion. So overall, it's big for the sport of boxing. But I told y'all it wasn't going to be a good year for some of y'all. Oh yeah, this fight, it does this and that. Like I said, don't watch it. Don't spend $100, whatever. But there's going to be a lot of people. And then, trust me, it's going to be the ones, when YouTube cut that fucking check, it's going to be the same ones who are complaining. I guarantee you their checks ain't going to look the same as the people who have been covering the fight or don't have a problem covering the fight. So you might as well just shut up, have a Coke and a smile, and do what's popping, what's popular. And Mayweather McGregor is that. And the thing I like about Bob Arum saying this is he really has no allegiance to this fight. He has his own fights he's working on. He's doing deals with ESPN and things like that. He doesn't benefit from this in any way in terms of like he's getting a cut of it or his fighters on the undercard or something. To my knowledge, there's absolutely no top-ranked connection to this. And he hasn't always said favorable things about Mayweather, even though he formerly represented Mayweather. So for him to say this, it just goes to what I was saying about Oscar De La Hoya. It shows bitterness and just kind of jealousy and hate, and it shows a complex that you're so worried about another event when you have an event the same night, which again, people, I keep it a buck, people aren't really talking about Kodo Kamagai. I mean, like I said, every time I keep challenging y'all in the comment section, nobody follows through. Name a popular YouTube channel and show me, put the links of all the Kodo Kamagai videos they've made in the last 2 weeks. And how many views does it have? You know what I mean? And no one's doing it. So we already know. But I can send you links to people who have talked about or covered and got footage of Mayweather McGregor and see what those numbers are doing. So we know what time it is. But respects to Bob Arum for being truthful, even though he's a promoter that really stands nothing to gain by bigging up this fight or saying I agree with it. And to me, this kind of goes back to what B-Hop and Oscar De La Hoya are doing. This shows that complex to me, because you have another promoter who's also successful, who also works with ESPN, who also has great big fighters, and you know what I mean, he did good numbers with PACQUIAO Horn on ESPN, things like that. And he's saying the total opposite. And you break it down, whose platform sounds like they're coming from a realistic spot. I mean, he gave you everything. He says, do I think it's going to be a real fight? No, but trust me, it's going to make a lot of money for those involved. So I just respect Bob Arum's honesty here, and that's just what it is. Like I said, this doesn't mean I agree with everything Bob Arum's ever said, but I do agree with this. And I said it before, there's nobody in business, in the boxing business, who has an opportunity like that to make the numbers that Mayweather McGregor will make and generate this type of interest, and they're not going to do it. They're just going to say, you know what, I don't want to make that because this ruins boxing. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee you, Top Rank, if somebody was out there for Terrence Crawford for Top Rank to work with the UFC, and people just wanted to see it that bad, where it's going to generate this type of numbers and Crawford's going to get 100 mil. If Crawford's getting 100 mil, you know Bob Arum's going to get something good. So realistically, Oscar, Bernard Hopkins, Arum, Lou DiBella, whoever you want to throw at, there's no promoter out there that is not going to take this opportunity. Like Bob Arum says, it's a free market. If the interest is there, you go after it, point blank, period. If you can, you know what I'm saying? And promoters have done worse. They put together fights that no one wanted to see, but there was a market for it in terms of they can make some ticket sales, or they can promote it right and get some money, you know what I mean, come out with something positive on the back end. Let me know your thoughts on Bob Arum. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.